After 5 days with the POCO F3, I can now say that it is indeed a beast and can be considered as a flagship killer. Of course, at its price point, there are some sacrifices made, but still the POCO F3 will give you the best value for your money, so in this video, we'll find out why. So let's start with the POCO F3's design. I got the black version and it has a glass front and back protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 5. I was surprised to see the Gorilla Glass 5 instead of the 6 on this phone, given that the POCO X3 Pro launched an hour earlier had the 6. But if you look closely, the Gorilla Glass 6 is actually equivalent to Gorilla Glass 5 in scratch resistance, but is designed to survive multiple drops from even greater heights. So if you're not planning to drop your phone multiple times from high places, then the Glass 5 should be okay. On the right side of the phone, you have the volume rockers and the power button, which is also the fingerprint sensor. This is one of the features that still bothers me even after almost a week of using it, because I still get accidental touches, so it's still something I need to get used to coming from more than 2 years of under-display fingerprint scanners. At the top of the phone, you have the stereo speaker grills, and at the bottom, you'll find the other stereo speaker, the mic, the USB Type-C port, and the dual SIM slot. Sadly, there's no stereo jack port on the POCO, but they included an adapter for your audio equipment needing a 3.5mm jack port. However, the stereo speakers are loud and powerful, enhancing your multimedia and gaming experience. The dual SIM slot is not a hybrid micro SD slot, so deciding whether to get the 128 or 256GB variant is critical because the phone's memory is not expandable. The display on the phone is a 6.64-inch E4 AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate, which really makes the phone stand out. Coming from 60Hz, you'll really feel the difference when you are scrolling through different apps and playing games. At full sunlight, the display is still visible and only hampered by the reflection from your screen. And by the way, the display already has a screen protector out of the box. For connectivity, the phone functions well, and I had no issues using the phone on phone calls and even on online meetings using Zoom or Microsoft Teams. The phone is already 5G, which is really one of the major selling points for me. Whether you are in an area covered by 5G or not, it's still better to have a 5G phone since network companies are ramping up coverage in the Philippines. Although I noticed that there seems to be a bug on the F3 where the signal would show 4G when it's actually 5G. In terms of software, the phone runs on Android 11 with MIUI for POCO. I've been reading everywhere about ads on POCO, but I haven't really noticed much. One update on the MIUI is the notification and control area, where you have the option of making it look like the one on the iPhone. The POCO F3 is a rebranded Xiaomi K40, but unlike the K40, the POCO F3 runs on global ROM, which is more convenient for casual users. I'm coming from the Redmi 10X 5G using a China ROM, and it's a bit tedious finding solutions for app incompatibilities on China ROMs. One example was Netflix, wherein you can't watch in HD and have to download a different version of the app just to watch in HD. Another was my LinkedIn app automatically updating to the Chinese version of the app. Battery life is good and it will last you 1 day easy for normal use. And of course, battery life becomes shorter for gaming. But either way, good news is that it has a 33-watt charger, which will take you less than an hour to fully charge your battery. The POCO F3 has a triple camera setup. First is the 48-megapixel main camera, next would be the 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and then last would be a 5-megapixel tele-macro lens. On the default MIUI camera app, you can easily switch between the main camera and the ultra-wide camera, while the macro camera is activated on the app's control panel. On its own, the pictures are really good, and you'll only notice the room for improvement if you compare to flagship cameras such as those in Samsung or on the Mi 11. For videos, the camera has different modes ranging from 720p to 4K with 60 FPS available on the 1080p mode. The selfie camera is a 20 megapixel camera, and for the video, I'm currently using the POCO F3 selfie camera to record myself. In terms of performance, the POCO F3 is powered by the Snapdragon 875G, and my unit scored more than 653,000 on the latest version of the Antutu app. But more than the numbers, I believe what's more important is the user experience. With a very powerful chip, daily tasks are quite easy, no lags whatsoever, and the question really is how well it can handle heavy games. I played PUBG for more than 30 minutes, all on the highest possible settings, and I must say I am very much impressed with how smooth gameplay was. I also played Genshin Impact all on high settings and never experienced any frame drops compared to my 10X 5G. In terms of the always controversial heating issue, with playing PUBG, it never really went over 42 degrees Celsius, while on Genshin Impact, the highest temperature I recorded was 45.8 degrees Celsius. And as far as the dimming issue raised by some users, it seems that this issue exists as I can find any setting to keep the phone on maximum brightness. Comparing it to my 10X 5G, the POCO F3's screen is notably dimmer, and sometimes you can see actual dimming if you go in and out of a game. Not really a deal breaker for me, but it would be nice for later updates to address this issue. Now lastly, let's look at the price. The price in itself is the main reason why POCO F3 is labeled as a flagship killer. This phone is only sold around 20,000 pesos or even less depending on the storage capacity, and even less if you caught the early bird price. It really makes you think if you should buy flagship phones above 50,000 pesos when you can get almost the same experience with less than half the cost. Until last December, I was still using my Samsung Galaxy Note 10, and the only thing I'm missing from that phone is the camera and the under-display fingerprint scanner. Other than that, my overall experience with the POCO F3 is actually better. So for how much I got the POCO F3, I really can't complain. It's really a good phone, it has everything I need without breaking the bank. There are many alternatives on the same price range, but overall I can't see any better deal than the POCO F3. So that concludes a casual user's review of the POCO F3. If I missed anything or if you want to see some more tests, feel free to drop a comment on this video, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, The Misadventures of Ronnie G. Thank you for watching and stay safe.